what we found in the last even 24 hours is people hearing about the story and how they've responded. And why don't we go there and just talk a little bit about how, once the community has found out what was going on, your thoughts on how they've responded so far.
It's been interesting and a little bit worrisome, because BC government and the medical system, they have a plan and procedure in place, and those procedures are in place for a reason. If they just allowed everybody who wanted to go down and get a second opinion in the States and paid for everything that was going on, it would be a free-for-all between people who live here who just don't want to wait for medical care.
Sure, you understand.
So I understand all that, and we're not angry about any of that. And we actually haven't talked to them specifically about going down to the States yet. We had asked them for all the information to go down, and when you look at their guidelines, Jeneece doesn't fit, because ever since she was 5 years old and the very first back surgery they did on her, they put screws right through her vertebrae, and that changed the game plan. Everything from there on in was experimental. So anything that's done on Jeneece surgery-wise is experimental, so she would never qualify for that. And I was kind of nervous with all the news pieces going out, and some of it gets changed a little bit here and there. And
Fair enough.
The audience is getting angry. It wasn't meant that way. And they're only doing what they're supposed to do, and they're waiting for us to respond, but we can't respond yet because Jeneece still needs one more test done. We know already that the doctor has told us that there's a good possibility she won't be walking, but they also are looking for a tumor in her spinal cord, and that piece of information may change the whole game plan. So we have to wait for that test to be done next week. Once we have that test and the results from it, we can then approach the government and say, we would like you to look at this, and hopefully they will make an exception of Jeneece. Not that we want her to be the exception.
Right.
I think maybe their policies need to be re-looked at, in the sense that they need to word them or phrase them a little differently, where it tells you that they will actually look at it even if you don't qualify.
Are really at this point beyond your control, other than just to say to the audience and or government that you know, you might want to relook at some of the things that they do. Do you get a sense that you've been heard in that regard?
I think so. But one of the other things in here that people aren't really paying attention to or really understanding is you've got a family here that are in crisis already. We're dealing with enough on our plates with the news that we're getting from the doctors regarding Jeneece's care.
Right.
Is it fair for the families to have to sit here now and argue with the government about getting a second opinion? They shouldn't even be put in that position.
What about the public so far? And the response you've had? I
think the public has been awesome. And I think through their voicing what they feel, I think with everybody getting on the same bandwagon, maybe they will relook at their policies a little bit, and maybe open it up just a crack further for some of those people that fall through, like Jeneece and the others. We're lucky Jeneece is who she is. She gets through to the public, but I'm sure there's others out there just like Jeneece that don't qualify. They wouldn't dream of challenging that with the government because they've got way too much on their plates.
Angie Edroff is Jeneece Edroff's mother, joining us live. Jeneece is live and in studio. So there's a few more tests to go, and there's some this week, and as your mom mentioned, some next week. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
The one I'm really looking forward to getting is the one next week, because it's the one we've been waiting for a while, and there were situations where we're doing the mammogram and they can't do it, the eyes from my back, because of all the hardware and everything else that's going on in there. So they have to do it to the neck, and they did not know if they could do it or not. So we were booked for next week, and hopefully after next week everything will start getting rolling and start moving on.
I don't think there's a person in this province doesn't wish you all the very best and wishes you the care that you deserve. So we're going to keep close tabs on what's going on, and obviously we'll give you the time and space to get what you need done. Is there anything you want to say to our audience, the general public, right now as you move forward?
Just thank you for the support and all the donations that's happening and just everything, because it does help.
Once again, exactly what Jeneece said. We are overwhelmed by the public's generosity, and it really tells that they really do love Jeneece, and we understand that. We get it. And we just want to say thanks.